thank you so much again for those that are still here with us. And I want to start this section with a couple of disclaimers. I think the most important one is even on the title of the session, what it says like for smarter campaigns and content. Who is making the campaigns smarter and the content smarter are yourselves. But it's because AI can free up so much of your time that then you can have more time to think strategically and to think smarter and to make better campaigns because you have potentially more time in your hands. Not that the AI is making it smarter on its own. So that's one disclaimer. The second one is we need to be aware of when the part that will cover generative AI, there are still hallucinations in this. So we need to be mindful of that everything that comes of AI is not, let's say, public ready. There always needs to have an intervention. It always needs a human that checks and fact checks and makes sure that the sources are correct, that the links that they're giving you actually exist. So all of these, please do keep in mind that they always needs a human revision. The second one is that the third one is that AI keeps evolving. So if you interact with AI today and you didn't like it because it gives you a response that wasn't right, don't take that for granted because it has evolved so much. Even when I was interacting with it a year ago, probably at so many times I would have said, and many people say like, "Oh, that doesn't work." But where it is right now, it's crazy, and it's gonna be in a few months, it's gonna be nowhere to where it is right now. So it keeps evolving. Keep informed of what the advancements are, and don't take what you see today for granted because it's not static at all. It's a quite exponential growth. And then the one and most important disclaimer is that I am not trying to promote any product. I'm going to give just some examples of the tools that I'm familiar with, that we use at PMNCH, that we chose for whatever reason, but I'm not telling you you should use this. I think there are many, many tools that do the same thing, but I'm just choosing this one because it's the ones that we're using at the moment. And for the interest of time, we're not going to go in too much detail into it, but just, the bigger thing, okay, we like this and this one, we like this, that one. But of course, you on your time, on your own time, you can explore them more or explore also the competitors. Again, we're not trying to tell you this is a tool that you should use. As I said, there are multiple tools that do the same things that we are gonna be that I'm gonna be showing you today. With that in mind, we see that this is a game changer. So, and there is not a specific data for advocates, but there is a specific data for people that do marketing. And as we saw from our private sector presentation before as well, there is a lot of things that we can translate into it. It's not a one-to-one, but there is something that we are communicating. There is a change in behavior that we are trying to mold, let's say, and there is an 82% success rate according to this study that we're seeing here from Sprout Social, where they report that it's been a change maker. It accelerates content creation. It optimizes your campaign. It can listen to do the social media listens like never before because it can scrub information so quick and so fast and so accurate that now you can understand your audiences a lot better than before. Of course, this is the digital space. And again, as I was mentioning at the very beginning, AI frees us communicators to focus on a strategy and creativity, and we don't have to, all the time that we used to spend on other things that now AI can do for us. It's actually really cool. So there are 3 points here that on AI that some of you might be aware of already, but I mean, just to level up where we are, is one is audience segmentation. Across this workshop, we've been talking about how we have different target audiences, how we do not communicate with them in the same way, how we don't use the same language with all of the different audiences. And this is something that actually AI can help you with. It can actualize precise content targeting. And it's not the same, it's not the same to speak to a health worker, to speak to a head of state, but then you can have a consistent message. So as an organization, you have a message, you have some key messages, an advocacy brief that you need to deliver to a certain cohort of constituencies, but then you can segment it by audiences, but you don't need to lose that consistency. You're communicating is still the same and ensure that you are coherent with what you're saying. And you as a brand, like as an organization, you consider as a brand, right? You have a tone, you have a way to speak. And you don't need to lose that because you're using AI. You can train it to say, this is how my organization speaks. This is the tone that we use. We are provocative. We are formal. We are very technical. We want to be like a friend in the ecosystem. So you can shape what your brand voice is, and probably something that you haven't even questioned, like what is the tone of voice of my brand? You can actually now with AI start thinking about it, create one, use what you have already created. So like, I really like this content that I created, this blog, this entry, this op-ed. I think this really resonates with who we are. Let's make this our voice. And then from there, you can create content that has nothing to do with it. But then the tone of voice is going to be very similar. So that's also helps. And the third one, as I was mentioning, is the rapidness. So it's like how you can accelerate that content creation, and you create workflows that as never before, that you put a form, the form automates with a spreadsheet that gives you all the people and the answers that you're getting from people, and from there you can create social media content targeted to the answers that you're getting from a survey. Just an example, and you can do that automatically. So rapidness, content creation, adaptation. I'm gonna go a little bit more into detail. There is a success story here that I wanted to share with you. It's called Beyond Listenership, and AI predicted interventions to drive improvement of maternal health behaviors. So this is something called a redless banding algorithm. Sounds very technical, but basically what it means is how can you change the behavior of someone? When are you most likely to change or do something depending on the time or depending on the place or where you are. And in this case, this campaign was to live intervention calls to women that were less likely to listen to automated calls. And this was for different actions they could take to improve their their um, their motherhood, like for example, taking iron or calcium supplements postpartum, or better comprehension of key health topic, etc. So they took a group of people and they said like they are not really likely to answer to these automated calls because they're just gonna reject the call or not take it. And then AI helped them to like, okay, this is the best time where this person is gonna answer to you. This is not the kind of example of the kind of things that AI can do, and that eventually can translate into a campaign or a movement that you are working on. Next, content creation and scale with AI. So speed and efficiency, I think there is no question about how quick you can do things, especially when you're trying to do different formats. So you have, generate tailored social media posts and campaigns. You can take a picture and you can say to the AI, please make a post about this for these different channels. And the AI is going to actually tell you, this is for Twitter because this is the rules. This is for LinkedIn, it's a little bit more lengthy, and this is the kind of hashtags you can use. And this is for Instagram. So actually create it for you from a picture. You can say, I'm going to be at this event. I am at last week, I'm at the IPU 151st assembly in Geneva. I'm going to be talking to these stakeholders. This is the goals that we have. This is our communications that we're trying to do. And you already train your model. And then you say like, hey, I have this one-on-one with this person. These are the key points. You don't need to tell anything else. You already trained it. The thing knows where you are. And then it can create social media content really quick for you with the context that you're giving it. So you're not randomly creating content, you're giving it the context, but they already understand what's happening in that one picture, in that one quote, in that one reportage that you're trying to do, for example, from a health working group, right? But you don't need to start from zero. It can already help you, contextualizing it very quickly. Smart integrations. So there are these tools that I found. It's called Jasper AI, Content Check AI. So the ones that we use in PMNCH is Agora Pulse, and it basically just help us plan when things go out throughout the week on different channels. So in one platform, you have can post and repost and tag all in one space. So you don't need to go through each of the channels. Like this is one post, I'm going to post it here. Another post, I'm going to post it there. You can centralize all of that with different tools. And then again, so just faster integrations. So, content iterations if you need a PDF, if you need a PNG, if you need something that is an A4, a one pager, but now you need to translate that into a social media for, a square because you're going to use it on Instagram. But then for Zoom, because you're doing an event, you just need a banner that is a 16 by 9. You can do all those resizings so easily. And those iterations happen so fast. And you save so much time on approvals because then you know that it's consistent with one master that you created. So you don't need to go through each of them and approve all of them with the same meticulous eye that you approve the first one with. Moving on, already covered this. It's just, social media curation, how you can make this effortless, right? Like ultimate timing, when your audience is gonna engage with your content, are most likely to engage with your content. Is it at night? Is it in the morning? And you can actually, this AI can do this even at the individual level, not even like country based, but at the individual level. And then something that we use a lot is social listening. These help us a lot, and you'll see that we use hashtags often. And these hashtags is basically some of our tags that we say, like, okay, we want to monitor how this is doing and how this is doing across different channels, not only social media, but also anything that is on the web. You can monitor mentions. You can adapt a strategy really quickly to say, okay, people are reacting to this very well. Let's create more content around it. And then, of course, drive results. The way that you drive and understand results it's depends to how you want to collect success. And for some people, might be impressions. For some people, might be reactions, comments. There is a very interesting metric, and I'm gonna show you a little bit later in the tool that we use for this, that gives you the dollar value of the interactions and visibility that you have. So kind of tells you, if you have put this money, all of this organic, you will have gotten all of this organic reach or interactions or exposure. Okay, so let's just move on, just for interest of time. Okay, so this next part is on enhancing the campaign creations and engagement with these tools. So smart data gathering. So when we think of AI, sometimes we think only on ChatGPT, on Copilot, on Gemini, but there are also different things that you can use AI to help you. So in this case, there's data gathering tools like Formless that I want to show you later today, which helps you have a conversation digitally with someone while you are basically filling out a survey. Now, people are more and more used to having these conversations with those generative AIs, but for the day to day, or using it almost as Google. But then here you can actually purposely say, like, hey, we want to understand this problem. Can you fill up this or like interact with this bot? And then you can actually then gather information and then do something with it, create a report, create a story, or even just have a fun way to get people to register to one of your events. The other one is for content creation, so creative content creation. So I think Canva is been evolving so quick and making it so easy for people to create beautiful things. I think now event banner doesn't look nice. It's kind of like not acceptable because Canva can do it for you. And I'm going to show you very quickly how you can do that. And then you can do also funny things and fun things. So there is this tools called, for example, Suno, that can help you create a song. And I think my colleague Sarah, that is here, she was a witness of that. We were having these country led gatherings with the PMNCH CAP initiatives. And for the events, we were having a specific song about age. We created lyrics that were related for that country, for that context, for that event, and that was the background music of that event. It's something very subtle, but as something that is special, and it's something that is connecting also with the people. There's like, okay, this is a song about us right here, and it was again just AI created just a small touch, and you can actually then translate this into something even bigger. You can create a jingle. You can do it. Now it's Halloween, maybe you can create something around it with it, but it allows you to be creative. And we will explore Canva and their AI functions in a little bit. And for dynamic storytelling, there are tools, like in this case, the one is Filmora. AI is a tool that we use a lot for our video editing, but you can actually do things like text to video. You can say, I want a video where this thing is happening, and it just creates a video from a text that you just created, and then that can become, of course, another source of content that you don't need to invest huge amounts of money, neither a lot amount of time in getting in an agency and going into back and forth of approvals. But it can be something that you create that is quick, and then you can replicate and reuse across different channels, delivering a message in different formats. So this is a little bit of a graphic of like where is the integration with human and AI collaboration, and then overcoming challenges together. So, you have human strengths, you have AI capabilities and automation. So you can see then here how everything basically translates into impact. So AI capabilities and automation, you have data and speed that like never before, but then human strengths, like, your creative brain, your ability to create campaigns with these AI capabilities, you just become very efficient. And then these human strengths with automation, you can actually, be a lot more creative. In this case, it's the time that it frees for you to think, because sometimes we get so consumed on the day to day that you don't have time to think. And all of this basically gets back into impact. This is a silly quote, and it's just basically how learning to use AI tools is like upgrading from a hand plow to a tractor. The field hasn't changed, it's the same crop, but your capacity to cultivate it has. So nothing has to change on the way that you do things, but you're just more efficient. Okay. These are the tools that we're gonna explore today. Again, just quite quickly. So for campaign analytics will be Brand24. For enhanced content creator, we're gonna focus on, I can show you very quickly how Suno Filmora works. Social media management, we can show you how Canva would work. And for automated scheduling and automation and scheduling, I want to show you Formless, which is this very cool tool that we use sometimes for data collection. And I'm going to show you something very nice from Mailchimp that potentially you haven't there to click, and it's really literally just one button. So I'm gonna stop my screen here. I'm gonna go to the tools, tell a little bit of how they work, and I hope it inspire the work that you do. Um, Let me go with this, okay? Sure. Okay, so the first one, that I was mentioning, is Brand24. As I was saying, social listening has become so smart because this is all real time. This is showing you the hashtag WCAH, that shows you already the most popular mentions. So the one post that got most attention, and then the post from the top public profiles. So it's either the one that has better recognition as a relevant source of information, or the ones that has more followers. So we can see, for us in this case, we are one of the few that uses this hashtag, but also help us spotlight who else is working on it. So we can see, for example, Unref Tanzania, that is also using that wording. Then we can see also, I think this morning when I was looking at it, I saw other good examples. But I think now it's overpopulated with PMNCH. Okay, here we have other organizations here, Social Good Moms, this person. So sometimes you can even discover partners that you didn't think of, and that you probably don't know who they are. Who is Social Good Moms? At this moment, I don't know, but we can say like, okay, let's check them out. Let's see what they're doing. Are they actually resonate with the message that we're doing? And probably that could be one of those communities that we were talking about before that we want to cultivate. So this social listening tool, I find is super nice. This AVE is what I was mentioning, is the advertising value equivalent used to measure on dollar value. So this is showing for the last 3 months. So to get these results, if we didn't do this organically, we would have to invest 11,000 US dollars, but all of this was done organic. And then you can also change it. Like if you did a campaign that was just for the last 7 days, okay, did this do? Oh, last 7 days, the mentions went down. Like people were not using this hashtag so much. And then you can have, I mean, I think there is a free version that allows you to have one hashtag or something. You pay a little bit more, you can track more. So we can even do it at the whole organizational level of PMNCH for some of our events. So you can decide what you want. So a good one is features, for example, which is a campaign that we are doing together with WHO. Here we can see the analytics of it, and you can see also fantastic results around it. Something very good about social listening as well is that you can see your negative mentions. When it comes to global health and our issues, sometimes the system can get a bit confused because we are trying to say something tragic or something bad. It doesn't necessarily have to be something bad, but so here we can see all the results that are happening. Social media reach, non-social media reach. It says for the past 30 days, non-social. So no one in media outlets have been talking about hopeful futures or use this hashtag. And well, that translates that this campaign actually started way back in April, if I'm not wrong. So this again, there are many different tools that can help you do this, that can help you identify, who are the most popular people that are commenting, the better public profiles, what are the channels that people are using. You can be surprised sometimes you create a campaign and it's super good on TikTok and you're like, oh, what was this that worked so much? So then you can try to replicate and make that content. You can see how it evolves over time, what are the kind of sentiments that people are having. As I was mentioning to you, like sometimes you can filter, say, okay, show me only the negative. Sometimes it's people, they don't agree with what you're saying. Some others is just like, because you're trying to say a data point that sounds like something bad, but it isn't. Like X amount of women died in the past year because of XYZ. And sometimes it understands that it's something bad, but so that's the only issue I've been finding. Then you can see other hashtags that people use together with that. So when in this particular case, when people talk about hopeful futures, they pair it a lot with women, with care, with child, with healthy beginnings, which actually is part of the campaign, with prevention. So it gives you also some inspiration and a bit of understanding of how people are interacting with that content. And you can also filter out, say like, don't count me in, like just exclude everything from me. So I would just want to see what the community is saying. And if you want a report, then well, we already have one for these other reports, so we haven't paid for those. You can have a really drilled down report of everything that the social listening has done for you. Okay, this is brand 24, but more than you remember the brand is just, this is what social listening is. And now with AI is just really powerful. The next tool, just to jump very quickly, is on Mailchimp. And the cool thing about this is, sorry, I just had it closed for too long, so it needs to refresh. But is when you want to send it, right? And send time is this little button. That's it. Just like send when recipients are more likely to open. For this, you need a little bit of planning because you need 48 hours at least in advance when you're going to send it. But then you're letting the campaign to be delivered at the time that this AI will understand is the best time for that particular person, depending on where they are or in their time zone or many other parameters. Say like at this time, this person is most likely to open your email. And that you will see huge improvements on your open rates, click rates, and etc. That will really depend on your content, but at least the open rate, you will see a big increase with this. And the next one, it's the Canva. So once you're in Canva, there is a left panel. On the left panel, you have the Canva AI. And you can actually tell Canva, make this for me. and it's just brilliant, because it's just, and it's sometimes when you're designing something, if you ever hear some of you have designed something or just want to do it, when you have a blank canvas, it's sometimes it's so hard. It's just like you're like, where do I start? But then this just gives you a head start that you can even end up with something that has nothing to do what the AI is giving you, but it just gives you a head start that you're like, okay, let's start editing this one. In this case, all I did was, this was my prompt. It was the most basic prompt. Mental health day, event poster design. That's all I said. And then it gave me these 4 options. And then it's like, okay, so if I want to work with something that is more PMNCH like, I think maybe this one could work. And then, okay, now I want to edit this. Sorry. And then I said, then I gave you some parameters. I actually forgot to say, like, make a poster for mental health day, add a date, time for event, make sure the what, where, when, sorry, I repeated the what, it's on the banner. So make sure this is there. So you know that you have your placeholders. And when you're making an event poster, that's basically what you need to, what you want to always communicate is what, where, when, and if you have a space and you want to do it here. Normally we do it on the caption, the why, but you can decide. Then you have this here, and you can edit 100% of what you're seeing here. What we do is we have already spent a little bit of time on create a brand for PMNCH where we have, our logos, our colors. So for example, our logos are already there. So all we need to do is to click here and you add it somewhere, in a corner. Sorry, I'm not gonna be super meticulous on this. And then here, then you have the colors. So then, you have some particular colors. This is the PMNCH palette. So we want to make this, sorry, something happened. This one. Let me see what's happening with the color. Okay, so this is the document color. So you can actually change this dark blue to something else. This one to something else. I don't know why this one is not letting me. I'm sorry. This is letting me down. But normally you should be able to change the colors on each of the elements. That's rule of thumb. You can do that. But maybe this one is set up differently. But you can change you can change the text if you want to type something else, etc. And again, you can change the colors. I don't know why this one is not letting me. I'm sorry about that. And on that note, I'm going to jump to our next tool. But again, this gives you an amazing head start to create a poster for events, for a podcast, for even the cover of one of your reports. This is called Formless, the next tool, and it's something for data collection. It's a very cool way to gather information. So in this case, you have, like an overview. So what is this about? So, you just need to know an ongoing efforts to make sure that our membership or members are still engaged with us. We have been around for 20 years, and we want to make sure that all our partners are still interested in working with PMNCH. What is the tone of voice? You can create it. You want to be friendly, you want to be professional. What is the tone? As we were talking before, and if you already have that design, you can put it here. Again, this is just a demo. You can add some welcome screens, some end screens, very easy. Then you can create a journey. In the journey is like whatever conversation you have with this, make sure that you collect this information. This is what I need eventually. Then you can add visuals about, and then you can train the AI. So when you train the AI, you can tell them things like, hey, someone asked for more information, tell them to go to our website. Tell them about, what is their focus, or if they need further information, they send me an email. For URLs, then you can, I'd say like, hey, just take PMNCH, crawl it, what means like take everything on my website and give people content only from PMNCH. So we don't want you to go and search anywhere else. It's just like from PMNCH, we want you to take this information. I see comments, but I cannot see the comments. I'm sorry.
I got it, David. So a couple of questions for you. A couple of people like me, Angui, think that we need a more in-depth session to grasp some of these. But a couple of questions. So Jacqueline And Chinyenyenwa, I think, want to know sort of what is the approximate cost of some of these tools, and what for organizations that have smaller budgets that possibly can't afford these, like what are the ways of getting out ahead of some of these tools to be able to use them? And then Chinyenyenwa had a second question, which was there's been some back and forth and some not negative discourse about AI, but there has been some concern raised about the use of AI. So how does one sort of address that in the use of AI on a day-to-day?
Okay. Just I'm gonna then close this very quickly. So then this thing is fantastic. I'm just wanted to show you very quickly how it will actually look like. And then I go with the cost and with the different ethical considerations for AI. So this is what we just created, or what I show you. You create a partnership, confirm your partnership, name organization, PMNCH. Yes, I would like to remain. Yeah, sure. My name is David, and this is my email. And then you can, your website. So that was so quick, and because that was the simple questions that I needed. I didn't need anything else, and at the end, I just wanted to bring it to PMNCH. That was it. But your journey can be completely different. And I said you can use this for making a survey. You want to understand, what are so early, not long enough, we did a survey with our partners on the impacts of the funding cuts, and we did use a less AIT or less sophisticated tool to understand the impacts of funding cuts in our partners, and we got around more than 100 responses, and then we created a very good web story about it that you can check it out in our website. So you can actually do that as well, like if you want to understand something, if you want to give visibility to anything, you can make it actually quite engaging, and people are kind of see something new and they want to interact with it. The other thing that I wanted to share with you, and that some people are not aware of, and is that you can upload documents to when you are interacting with these generative language models, and you can avoid those misinformation that sometimes can come with, and is always here. It's this class. This is a free version of Copilot, and then you can say like, okay, I want to add a file, and then the file in this case I was looking at the closing the women's health gap report. You can open it, then it will load in there, and then you can start asking questions about that report if you need something. If you say like, hey, I have this campaign and I want to back it up with this report and just this report, then the thing can do that, and then from there on you can create whatever content you need or inspiration. You can create a blog, you can create social media, you can create many other things. And then you can tell it, you can be very specific with the tool and tell it, give me the source, give me the page, give me the sentence where you're taking this from. So once it creates it, you can actually go and validate. So that's also answering a little bit of the second part of the second question that you have, is like, you can always have the powers to validate. And if you don't have that confidence, I wouldn't use it. Like, especially in our work, because we need to be accountable, and we need to be trusted sources of information. If you cannot do that tracking, don't, maybe this time is not it. But most of the time you can actually say like, okay, so sorry, I don't know what happened in second tool that it's not working for me today, but let me refresh. It's been open for hours now. Okay, now it's loading. So again, you can actually tell me exactly where you got this from. Give me the links, give me the page, give me the sentence. And then you can actually go back and say like, yeah, okay, this is accurate, and this information that is giving me, this drill down information is giving me is brilliant, and is matching with these other initiatives that I'm doing. So again, you don't need, ideally you want to read the whole report, but for the sake of creating the content, you can actually do it very, very, very quick and smart. And there is something, and there is two prompts that I want to teach you today, so you don't go just with a tool. And is sorry, this my internet is not great, but let's see if this loads. So okay, well, I'm gonna start saying it, and then you can practice it later and in your free time. One is called Ellie 5. So does anyone know what Ellie 5 means? Kari, do you know what Ellie 5 is? No. Okay, Ellie 5
I don't.
means explain me like I am 5.
Ah,
And then this is such a good prompt for you to get things that could be so complicated to make it very easy. So LE5, maternal mortality rates, right? It's something that we hear is like, yeah, MMRs, sure, we know what that is. But if you need to explain that to a 5-year-old, like, do they actually understand how that is, right? And then actually gives you such a simple way to understand any topic, because it's kind of trying to explain you like you're 5. Of course, it's a little, sometimes it gets a little bit more complicated, but it's a very good way for you to translate your technical language into something that is a lot more public facing materials. So yeah, high MMRs means many mommies are dying, often in places without good hospitals or doctors. Low means that this is not happening. Are things getting better? And it just gives you, you see, it gives you a whole overview, and it gives you, again, it gives you the sources. Where is this coming from? And then you can actually check it out. Don't trust this just when it says that. It's like, okay, this is a good data. I like it. Let's go to the source. And you just need to click there. Let's see if it's actually true. And then you can actually, then you get to the report, then you can see this is a good data. Okay, yeah, it's accurate. I can communicate this. And it's already giving you a language that is already targeted for one of those audiences that you probably have in your organizations, which is, the general public, if that's the case. So that's one prompt. LE5, you can LE5 anything. And that's the brilliance of it. Like, even for day-to-day things. The other one, and probably you have make it, is you create a big report, or make something that is very comprehensive, it's very long, and it's like, okay, how do I translate this to people in short manner, like, to make it digestible? You probably have seen this somewhere, TLDR, probably now that I'm saying it, and eventually you're gonna see it on social media more. This means, and we are busy people. TLDR. You know what that is? Anyone knows? Okay, so that basically means too long didn't read, right? Like too long,
really? Oh God.
too long didn't
Yes.
read.
Okay.
So you can actually start a prompt with that. Like, it says too long didn't read. Um, you can actually add links as well. This report. It's you need to let me try one more time, and if not, just again, in interest of time, then you can try later. But yeah, so those are the prompts I wanted to show you today. Like, I think they're quite useful. It's like the LE5 and TLDR, too long didn't read. It helps you really create content very digestible. Okay, very quickly on pricing. Well, if this loads, then I can show it. If not, then I don't show it, but then you can try it with better internet than mine. I'm surprised by the amount of discounts and by the amount of also free things that I've gotten just by talking with reps of the companies. So one example is today we're using Mentimeter. We are using a pro version of it. We are paying nothing. We just told them, hey, this is for a workshop. We're gonna do it only once. We are non-profit. I think it's not letting me in because it's not this. But if you can, and just use your favorite AI generative tool and try those two prompts. I'm gonna stop sharing there. So I've gotten a lot of free stuff. So that's one thing. Talk to the reps. Sometimes they even tell me like, hey, you don't need to send me anything. We trust our customers. Just use this link and you can download it. So that's great. Um, The other ones, I think all of them, if it's not free, you will have a discount. Most nonprofits get a discount, and I think that's something that can become a practice for you as well. Because at some point when we first got these tools, we were paying full price because it's not explicit. If you go to the website, it's nowhere big says if you are a nonprofit, click here. Sometimes it's very like buried down. So just dig a little bit, ask on the chat support, and they will send you that that information. um and brand 24, for example, I think we don't have a lot of money either. So I think these tools, brand 24, could be around 80 US per year. I think something like that. It's a yearly thing. It's not a lot. Canva, it could be around 20 per month. Also depends on the amount of people that is using it. The way that we use it is that we have a share account, because sometimes a lot of them charge you by user. So you can say you have a share email. In this case, in our case, it's PMNCH at who.int, and we all share the same account. Right? It's not personalized, but it saves a lot of cost. There's also a tactic to share. Mailchimp, it depends on how big your network and your database is. But it goes from free to depending on how many people you have. And again, Mailchimp is giving us a big discount for being non-profit. That's, yeah, I think those are the ones that I show you. They're not really they're not extremely expensive. Probably you can pick and choose. A lot of free trials. I think now there is so many tools that you can live on free trials for a year on doing different things. Yeah, I think I hope that answers those two questions.